Are you a parent or family member with a student who needs support in reading? Stay tuned to learn more about steps you can take to help with Reading Strong, a podcast by Project Arise and the Contra Costa County Office of Education.
Hey everyone, welcome to Reading Strong, a podcast by the Project Arise team here at the Contra Costa Literacy Project. I'm one of your hosts, Matt.
And I'm Karen.
Before we begin, we want to give some info about Project Arise. Project Arise is powered by California's Reading Instruction and Intervention Grant and seeks to elevate literacy instruction for every learner. With that said, parents and families, Reading Strong is for you. Teachers, stay tuned as well for some amazing family support resources.
This is our first episode in a three-part series. Today, we're going to be talking about an important change in California schools, a new law requiring schools to screen students in kindergarten through second grade for risk of reading difficulties.
This law might sound technical, but it's all about giving our youngest learners the best chance to succeed. As parents and caregivers, you play a key role in this. So, let's break down what the legislation means, why it matters, and how you can support your child at home.
This law is part of California's broader push for stronger literacy outcomes. By June 30th, 2025, every school district or charter school was required to adopt at least one state-approved screening tool. Starting in the 2025-26 school year, all students in kindergarten, first, and second grade will be screened annually.
These screeners are short assessments that look at the building blocks of reading, which include recognizing letters and sounds, blending sounds into words, vocabulary knowledge, fluency, and sometimes early comprehension.
And these tools are designed to be developmentally appropriate. They aren't long tests. They give teachers a quick but powerful snapshot of how students are progressing.
And there's funding in place to train educators so they can use the tools effectively and, just as important, respond with the right interventions which will support students as they learn to read.
So let's talk about why this matters. Research tells us that reading by third grade is a critical milestone. Children who struggle beyond the third grade often continue to struggle in other subjects since reading is the gateway to all learning. Research has shown that it's possible to prevent reading failures for the vast majority of students.
That's right. This law ensures schools can catch potential difficulties early, before frustration sets in. Instead of waiting until fourth or fifth grade when struggles are obvious, we'll know in kindergarten or first grade if a child needs more support.
And another benefit is equity. California is a diverse state, and by requiring all schools to use approved screeners, some in English and some in Spanish, we ensure that all kids, regardless of language background or zip code, are given the same chance to thrive. And if a child doesn't speak English or Spanish, schools are designing a process to determine what their needs are.
Absolutely. Families with children who may have dyslexia or who are multilingual learners can feel reassured that their child won't slip through the cracks. Early screening is a protective factor. It helps schools intervene before a small struggle becomes a big barrier.
And we should emphasize that a screener doesn't give a label, it just identifies risk. Think of it like a wellness checkup. If the doctor sees something unusual, they follow up. It's the same idea here with reading.
Now it's time to take a quick break. Stay tuned to find out what these screeners look like in the classroom. And later, we'll hear about what families can do at home to support their students in learning how to read. You won't want to miss it.
Parents often wonder, what does this actually look like in the classroom?
Well, that's a great question, Matt. A screener might be a teacher sitting one-on-one with a child, asking them to name letters and sounds, blend sounds together into simple words, or reading brief passages. And in some cases, it can be done digitally on a computer or tablet with headphones.
Yep. It usually takes only a short amount of time per child, often 1 minute per subtest. And the results help teachers decide whether a student needs additional practice, maybe a small group intervention, or just some continued progress monitoring.
And imagine that a teacher learning early on that a student is struggling to hear the difference between letter sounds. That's information that the teacher can act on immediately instead of discovering months later when the child is already behind in reading or spelling.
All right, so with all that information, families, here's where you come in. Even though schools will be doing the screening, you are your child's first teacher. The things you do at home can make a huge difference.
So here we're going to talk about some practical strategies. The first one is having daily reading time. Read aloud together for at least 15 minutes a day and let your child read also to you. You can go back and forth with those books. Choose books that they love, graphic novels, picture books, nonfiction books about dinosaurs, sports, or space. Whatever your child is interested in, read more about it. The second strategy is that you could play with sounds and words just when you're out and about in town. Clap out syllables like in the word basket. You could break it up to say basket. Sometimes you could play I spy with beginning sounds, like I spy something that starts with a mm. The third strategy is building vocabulary through just everyday talk. Talk about your day, ask open ended questions. You want to try to get at least 5 conversation turns between you and your child. So keep following up with those questions. It's something we like to call a strive for 5 conversation. You could also cook together and discuss the ingredients and the steps using words like first, we add the flour. Next, we're going to mix in some sugar, and then we'll add some chocolate chips. The fourth strategy, you want to leverage your home language. If you speak another language at home, keep using it. Strong oral language skills transfer across languages, and being multilingual is a great asset to have. You can also use community resources. That's our fifth strategy. Public libraries offer free programs, ebooks, and student success library cards. And many libraries also host story times in English and Spanish. And the last strategy today is to use technology wisely. Short, targeted educational apps can help students practice phonics and fluency, and be sure to balance that screen time with real books and conversations.
Wow, Karen, thank you so much for sharing all those strategies. One other big tip I'll add to that, keep it joyful. Reading should feel exciting and not just like homework. Celebrate any and all progress your child makes, even those small steps that you see.
Great tip, Matt. And don't hesitate to ask your child's teacher about what skills your child is working on. Teachers really appreciate family involvement and are happy to share information with you.
Time for another quick break. When we come back, you'll hear about when this screener should be administered and when you'll find out about your child's progress.
I'm sure our families are wondering, when will all this happen?
Great question. This school year is when we are starting the 25-26 school year. All kindergarten through second grade students will start being screened, and families will receive information about the assessment process, the screening windows, and the results.
All families will get information about how your child scored on the assessment and how to interpret the results. If your child is flagged as at risk, remember, this is not a diagnosis of a reading disability. It's just an early signal, and schools will provide interventions or additional practice to support your child.
And you should also expect that ongoing updates about their progress and what support students are getting will come home to you as well.
I'm so excited to talk about this broader vision. So, this legislation is part of California's bigger vision for literacy. The state literacy plan ties into multi tiered systems of support, or as you may have heard it, MTSS, to make sure every child, including underserved groups, has access to effective literacy instruction.
This means that your community is part of a statewide movement. When all kids can read confidently, we see ripple effects, stronger graduation rates, fewer inequities, and more opportunities for future careers.
And Project Arise is committed to helping families understand these changes, access needed resources, and feel empowered to support their children's literacy journeys.
All right, Matt, let's get ready to wrap it up. California's new screening law is about prevention, not reaction. Early identification means early help, and that leads to brighter futures.
I couldn't have said it better myself, Karen. Remember, families, you can read, talk, sing, and play with your child every day. You can stay connected with your school and ask questions. You are the most important advocate for your child.
We just want to thank you so much for joining us here on Reading Strong, brought to you by Project Arise at the Contra Costa Literacy Project. Tune in next week for part 2 of our Reading Difficulties Risk series, where we'll be talking about the results of screening and what they mean for your child.
And families, don't forget to share this episode with other parents and caregivers. Together, we can make sure every child in California grows up a strong and confident reader. Until next time, keep reading and keep believing in your child's potential. Thanks for listening.
Special thanks to our Project Arise partners: UCSF, University of La Verne, the Center for Whole Child Education, TNTP, the National Center on Intensive Intervention, San Diego County Office of Education and Glenn County Office of Education.